something you want to try to punish, it's that. But also maybe he felt like, okay, team's winning too hard, let me just go in, you know?
Point taken. Point taken.
Definitely can be that be the case, you know. Keep in mind that was on against Guinevere, but we will have broken walls here. I believe this is going to be the first time we will see broken walls today.
Yeah, first time today, I believe.
So that's going to be very interesting here to see the dynamic on the approach.
All right, let's get to it. Presented to you by the official gaming phone in Phoenix. Drafting phase, game number 1, ONIC at the get-go. Fanny, Baxia banned out, YSS, Freya also taken off. Usually we do see the YSS being opened up, but even the Sora gets banned out real early. This opens the Jushins, the...
Yeah.
Like, a lot actually.
And I really love the respect from RRQ though. At least they've learned, you know. They watched how Kelra played the Houston Shin yesterday and they're like, all right, we don't want any of that smoke. Ban it away. 2 gold lane bans at the start. Shows you how much respect they have for Kelra. And I think, you know, for Keskute, for Edok, even for Yehezkiel and Toy, they know how it is going up against Kelra, man. Yehezkiel notoriously never was able to beat the FNOP Kelra back in the day. Same goes for Edok and Toy. So probably have some PTSD about Kelra. I remember him on Moscow killing Toy like crazy. Guinevere banned out though. ONIC, what's it gonna be? First pick here for them. Jushin has to be for Sans, right?
Jushin is open, Phobius is also open, keep in mind, but yeah, I think Jushin, we mentioned on how valuable this mid lane pick is, and it seems like ONIC, they agree with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, first 3, we can save it for later, but technically, the Eve is still an option that RRQ can consider up against the Jushin if they want to win that mid-prio.
Right. I honestly would just go for the Leo Mord if they're really just looking to brawl it out, if they're looking to play aggressively. Take the Leo Mord away from ONIC, right? Because you don't want to give a Leo Mord Juicin and maybe even a Hylos over to the left side. Could also be a Juicin, you know, Fredge and Arlet later on, that combo. ONIC have so many different combos to play with, so RRQ, focus on their own game plan here. I think snatch away the Leo Mord, that's number 1. And then you can, they still prioritize, I just mentioned this. I don't really like seeing the Uranus this early on.
I get your argument, but I feel like Leomord into Jushin isn't that easy for the Leomord, no?
No, but if you just go through them and later on pick up the Eve together as well. You have these, you know, ways to deal with it. I'm just not a big fan of the Uranus so early on. They're doing it again.
Yuzong and Suyo as well now for ONIC.
A very good approach on that first turtle control, right? You get level 4, you can zone out the junglers of your enemy, and that's Suyo. Clear fast, you know, so they'll be able to rotate fast in Zushin mid-prio. So ONIC, their approach on this early game is quite direct. Yeah, we want that early to snowball and end it as soon as possible.
Okay. So now, see, like, because they didn't pick up a jungler, because they didn't pick up a mid laner as well, now it's going to be difficult. Which one do they sacrifice? They sacrifice the jungle, they pick the Zetian for Yehezkiel. It is a pick he's done well on even back in the day when it wasn't meta. So we gotta give him that. It's great against the Juicin in lane. Pretty solid against a Suyo for magic damage. With the Grok, got pretty good CC. But what is going to be in the jungle now? RRQ. I think for ONIC, they should ban the Harley, right?
They can't go Fredder, and I think it's going to be too difficult against the Jushin.
Could be, especially the Yuzong. You're gonna get chain CC'd and then the Suyo gets free turtle.
Do they go an assassin? The Choban maybe shows that they might go for an assassin here.
Yeah, the Choban might also just be purely out of respect because Keyboy played 2 Cho games yesterday and won.
True.
ONIC, I really think it should just be the Harley here. They should just set up for the Suyo success in the jungle. Ban out the Harley.
I like that, right? Just punish for not picking a jungler in the first phase.
Yeah. What if RRQ go Joy? If they really want to shut the Suyo down, no? But they banned Claude first. Interesting. I wouldn't really expect ONIC to have problems against the Claude. What are they? I wonder what they're planning here for gold lane that they banned out. Are they going? Yeah, I think the only thing that comes up to mind is like Harith.
I guess it's possible. But wouldn't you want to try to...
Is Moskov too much for RRQ?
I mean, it's a signature pick for Toy. I would much rather see him on Moskov than the Claude in the Obsidian yesterday, right? Moskov, he's solid.
technically Leo Mord is still pickable.
It is, and it doesn't look like ONIC are trying to ban out the jungle. Maybe ONIC are also just thinking, yo, we saw your Leomord yesterday. It wasn't really too impressive, so I think we're going to beat you out, especially again because they have a Suyo. Usually you pick up the Suyo up against the Leomord, so maybe ONIC just don't care about the Leomord. That's why I'm expecting maybe a Joy respect or more magic damage respect for the other lane. RRQ, Moscow. Yeah, I think the Moscow is not bad, but they ban it out, so there you go. Both Moscow and Claude taken out. Granger. Do they want to go for that? Is the question. I think they pick up a jungler first. Pick up a winning matchup. Try to get a winning matchup for Toy against Kelra.
So you mentioned the Joy,
Yeah.
Harley.
Leomord against Suyo. It's quite tough, but you have a Grok. And you have a Zetian as well. Gotta think real hard here for RRQ. Do they want to just go? I don't think they want to go Fredrin, right? There you go. So the options are...
Hayabusa?
Oh, not the biggest fan of that. Against Yuzong, same problem. And against a Suyo, it is the Harley that I expected to be banned out. I can't believe that went through, by the way. I can't believe it didn't get banned out. That was the first thing I called out to be banned.
But is it too much of a magic damage here in the composition of RRQ?
No, they can make up for it with the Granger, I think, or just a marksman.
Depends on the gold lane, yeah.
What is ONIC gonna pick though? They banned out the Moscow and the Claude.
They definitely need more like
Kelra.
lock, like crowd control.
It might not be an MM.
It might not
You
be
think
him.
it could be a fighter?
They still need Shred right now. But the Harith was what I called out earlier, and it looks like it's just going to be a simple answer.
They're
Harry?
hovering in
Oh,
around,
Harris.
and the Kalea. They're hovering around those two heroes. Oh, the Badang though locked in, and the Harris.
Badang makes more sense than Kalea here. There's no insta kill anyways, you know? Maybe they were thinking of this about the sustain for the Kalea. But it is the Harith, the Badang as well. Try to lock the Harley down whenever he jumps in, maybe. Still, Uranus might have a good time here. If you know, he does well in lane and doesn't really, if he doesn't get punished in lane, punished in the early game, he can be a threat. Now RRQ. It's Bruno. You know what?
Wow.
I'm not a hater of this. I've actually been really liking the Bruno in the current meta. I've been spamming a lot as well. I think it's great for this composition up against ONIC too, just because RRQ, they're looking for long fights. ONIC are looking for long fights, sorry. ONIC are looking for long fights. Bruno thrives in those long fight conditions, and the rest of the team can follow it up too.
Do you
Not a bad
still
trap.
think that Bruno's like an early game hero? He needs to snowball, so on and so forth?
No. He scales really well. His laning is all right. It's a skill matchup against the Harith. So he just needs to wait. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes weapon mastery here. Just, you know, farms out until 3 items or 2 items.
All right. Any last notes?
Kyrie's gonna have to be careful. There's a lot of magic damage. The Tian, Harley, and Uranus. They can really punish the Suyo if he dashes forward.
So let's see the execution. It's been clean, composed, and just mechanical by ONIC so far with their new roster. Can they retain the same consistency here against the Kings of Kings in our first Royal Derby of MPL ID Season 17?
Let's see the 39th Royal Derby. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, in ONIC and RRQ. Still looking to find form. And what will they bring to the table here? Keep in mind that this is Yeheskill's debut on the Royal Derby.
That's pretty surprising, by the way. In the mid lane, I thought Yeheskiel and Edok would actually just win out that 2v2. Emblem by Bayou. Pull yourself together for Yeheskiel. Wow. Are you looking for the Spear of the Phoenixes? Having the flicker up more times as well. Everything else looks quite normal, but yeah, Super Toy did not go for the Weapon Mastery. Instead, he goes for Master Assassin. All right. Again, not bad, but I expected Weapon Mastery just to be safe.
Okay, it looks quiet so far. We do see some rotations once again from Keyboy. Naturally so, giving out information about the team. If we're talking about the mid matchup, I believe if Sans is overly aggressive, it feels like Yeskiel might have a hard time, and you can even see Edok getting shredded here. Town prediction by GoPay. It looks like a unanimous vote for ONIC. Not surprised. I mean, again, considering the performance of RRQ
Everyone
with their
went gold.
first match. Of course, it's Kelra, right?
Have we ever seen
Golden
that?
standard.
Like a full,
I don't think so.
Think-
This might be the first.
right?
Unanimous role pick. Only killer, man.
That's gold standard.
Level 4 for both though, mid laners. They're both already eyeing out this first turtle, but again, Kyrie needs to be very careful against the magic damage of RRQ.
Yeah,
Seems
super
like he is, though.
very. Oh, rightfully so. Super Dan here, taking a lot of damage. That's a deadly catch on towards Sans. Now Super Dan repositioning. Kyrie is on the turtle. Edok looks to spoil this party. Oh, that's a great stun as Super Dan finds first blood and the turtle. All due to Yeheskiel finding the ult. That's gonna be a trade, but Sans will be taken down, and RRQ having more say. Yeheskiel will not be able to get out of this as Lutfi claims the double, but Super Dan finds a trade.
On point, Fury of the Phoenix, Yeheskiel on his debut, winning this first turtle trade for RRQ. And Kyrie gets taken down even before he could press that retribution.
That was brilliant, man. But it's exactly as expected, no? If Kyrie walks up, Super Ken, Super Dan, Yeheskiel, the magic damage is absurd, man. At the start of the game, Kyrie couldn't really do anything. He still tried to force it, try to go for the retry. Super Ken just walks up and steals it away as he gets stunned by the Fury of the Phoenix. And that's something that they'll have to play with the entire game.
Is there like a point where he doesn't have to be as careful? Is it an item build moment for Kyrie?
No, not really. Even if you go Queen's Wings in the late game, Super Ken will, once you get the Queen's Wings, Super Ken will also have, you know, all of his items. If he does go for the Aldo build from yesterday, the one he was really just complimenting, the Lightning Crunch in second, then it'll still just be a problem. And then, you know, obviously you go to my Enclave, you pierce through
That's
everything.
true.
There's the damage reduction, but damage reduction is not enough. No.
The later the game goes, the more damage Super Ken's going to have. So I feel that. I feel that. ONIC needs to figure out a way to try and do this. Wait a second, that's another pickoff for Super Ken.
It might be Suns.
They went all in on towards Roamer, and it seems like now it's a 3v2 situation in the mid lane. Kyrie looks for a disengage. Super Ken is able to get out of that one, but great pressure here provided by the mid trio of RRQ.
RQ's really on the tempo right now. The fact that Super Ken has his hands on the Harley, it's giving him so much leeway to get these pickoffs and ultimately giving them an advantage when it comes down to these neutral objective fights.
Yep. No respect to the Harley in the banning phase. They banned the Claude and the Moscow, and they gotta pay for it, man. RRQ doing a good job with Super Ken. Dealing so much magic damage. You saw earlier, it was just a poker tray. It wasn't even the deadly magic, and Kyrie needed to bounce out of there. Keyboy got picked off too.
Yeah, that's tough. Keyboard cannot really face check after that pickoff. Like, gotta calculate more on like his positioning, his timing as well. But yeah, so far, ONIC, they're behind 1,000 gold. Take a look at the positioning of Super Ken, and Kyrie needs to be aware of this.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Trying to
can't
take
walk
it out.
Ooh. Lose out the
Loses
referee.
it, yeah.
Super Ken, no teleportation. That's a stun. That's a big one. Now the damage will come through. As ONIC finds the angle to take the jungler down. Take a look at Kelra.
Okay, we're seeing adaptations coming through from ONIC right now. It looks like Sans is still playing aggressively here, pushing Edok to Yeheskiel, trying to utilize the HP of Edok onto the damage for Yeheskiel.
Wow.
It seems like Yeheskiel still gets the purple buff, so unfortunately, Kyrie's not going to be able to steal that away from him.
Yeah, by the way, well played, Keyboy. That's why they picked the Badang against the Harley. He wants to try to counter it. Wants to try to find those, you know, fist cracks, fist breaks over, catching him every single time before he jumps back.
So it makes sense why RQ banned out the Cho in the drafting phase, banning out these, you know, heroes that can create or stop the momentum from ONIC. But Keyboy is still able to handle that with the Badang. We'll see if he's going to be able to do the same thing twice
Yep.
Because so far RRQ have been able to get more picks in. We're looking at the next neutral objective now spawning. Looks like ONIC are the ones there first.
Yeah, and ONIC did such a good job, man, because now the gold leads, even when they were winning with 2 turtles, the gold lead wasn't there.
Take a look at the damage. Melts Keyboy there. He will go down 15 seconds. Should be plenty of time. Oh, the SKL forced to use the flicker there in the mid lane now. With the Yu Zhong in the back. Oh, under the turret. Lutpi does not have enough distance to close in out. That's a free kill again for RRQ.
I thought without Keyboy, ONIC wouldn't have gone for that, but they still went for it. Calra looked for an opportunity. Unfortunately, he couldn't even get Yehezkiel down, and they lose Lutpi in the process. So they lose 2. RRQ pick up a turtle. Was that okay? Is that okay trade? It looks like they're looking for more though.
Yeah, they know they're trying to find something. That's a stun on towards Edok. Finds it. Super Dan now quite isolated. Forced to use that Purify. And that will be it. But man, the ghost of Jakarta been doing work.
Yeah, he's been amazing in this game, but gotta give props to Super Toy. I believe he slide tackled Lutpi right as he dropped down from the dragon form, right? That's why he couldn't catch Yehezkiel. Very underrated part about Bruno's kit, man. The little stun that stops you from chasing, even if it's just a millisecond.
Yeah. So annoying.
It is very annoying. It staggers you for a bit, stops you in your tracks, but I understand what ONIC were trying to do there. They saw some of the resources, not a lot, some of the resources used up for Keyboy. They didn't want the Keyboy trade to go to waste, so they tried to go for a trade themselves. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I'm still pretty impressed, though. Really feels like, you know, the ONIC of the past, where the enemy team can have perfect turtle, but it's only a 700 gold lead.
What do you think about the item build from Super Ken?
Oh.
Those double penetration.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid choice because, again, he's thinking Sans is very durable, Keyboy as well, and Lutpi, so he wants to just go through before they even manage. Or maybe he just noticed that Lutpi built Radiant Armor early, so you know he wants to chunk them down. Instead of the Lightning Trunch in second, he goes for the Genius Wand into Divine Glaive. And he has an Airy spell. Interesting. I'm a fan of Super Toy's build. He went from, oh,
Calra?
Very low, still able to hold on though. Finds extra life as well in the mid lane after that clear. Tempo gone down, economy almost balanced.
yeah. Going back to the build of Super Toy. Hans Claws, usually you go Berserker's Fury second, but he delays the Berserker's Fury the third, goes for the Melted Gun instead, needs more range, knows that he'll be playing from the back, and he needs to try to match Yehezkiel's range. Even when the dragon comes around, right? One thing good about the Bruno, especially once you have Melted Gun, is you're able to hit the Yu Zhong while he's flying in air from such a far distance before he actually comes down. So by the time he comes down, he should be half. If you have enough damage, especially once he builds Berserker's Fury, it'll be even more troublesome.
That and also the longevity and like the range of Sans on the Jushin is quite underrated.
Here's Navon towards the back. That's a big resource spent. That should be enough signal to let ONIC, back off. But keep in mind, RRQ, they're not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah. Very methodical game this is, man. Not the brawls that we expect from the usual MPL ID games.
It's a nice change. It's a nice change. Super Ken's on the top side of the map. You can see that he's trying to put some pressure before they go for the Lord Dance.
Ooh.
He actually walks down. Is he looking for Keyboy?
And
That's for an angle. Uh-oh.
Keyboy's the only one who can stop him.
wow.
Both teams are baiting for spells at least, right? They know that their spells are still active, so they want to keep tabs on that.
Yeah. I like the instant adaptation for Kyrie, by the way. Right as he dies from Turtle 1, he's like, okay, I understand it now. It's tough. I can't walk up like that. I can't be forcing. So might as well just try to hide for as long as possible, try to sneak in later. I can't be going up against the Uranus anyways.
Okay, there you go. Black Dragon.
ONIC trying to pull the trigger here, at least force RRQ members to back away. That's a two-man stun! And the Petrify allows Kyrie to get the Lord. Now Keyboy, Super Toy taken now, and that will be the collapse. ONIC still focused down on the Grok now. That's a big knockup, but the damage will not be enough as Edok finds the flicker. Super Dan trying to distract is able to get out. That's a very, very important Lord. And this might swing on towards ONIC's side.
That timing was just so uncanny, right? You think as Lutfi opens up the Black Dragon form, everyone's too far away from one another. There's no way he can look for something. I mean, the minimal he could do is just give over information. And then Keyboy comes out from nowhere, is able to ult in 2 members. And then it's just GG for RRQ, and ONIC pick up that Lord. What a dance by ONIC.
Man, I'm more impressed. Yeah, the dance was beautiful by ONIC. Really good feints back and forth as well. Keyboy opening up. He's been caught so many times, right? And it kind of created the illusion for RRQ that they'll be able to one-shot Keyboy every single time. But the reason he's now even more aggressive in opening, despite dying the first 3 times, is because he already built the Radiant Armor, right? The first few times it was Thunderbelt and like a few components before Radiant Armor. So now he has Radiant Armor, he's confident that he can go through. But also, props to Superken, Brute Force, because the Keyboy caught him once. He wants to go for the tenacity out of the CC.
Looking to pull the trigger again at the bottom side of the map here. Lord is not taken down just yet. That's going to be a jump. Oh, Fury of the Phoenix finds 4. Now the turret taken down. Keyboy again looks for an opening. RRQ. They restabilize. They defended their main base, but they will lose out on the bottom side. Supercan very aggressive. Not able to find or close the gap just yet. Keyboy very low, still able to survive now. Supercan looks for an angle, not finding it just yet. Sans here, trying to provide damage. Lutfi quite low as well. Kyrie now jumping into the fray as well. Kelra with the Shaman Force. The damage is not yet enough to take the members down, but Eda caught, isolated. Kyrie secures that kill. RRQ, they went back and forth, but finally they will disengage.
Towers fall down in favor of ONIC. Items are being built in by ONIC. That's a Divine Glaive now in the hands of Kelra.
Kelra again, Shaman Force, that's a stun, but it will not be enough. Lutfi will be traded, but that's gonna be Supercan deleted. Keyboy under the turret, and he will fall. It's a 3-4-2 in that exchange. RRQ, they lose out of the top tier turret.
Kelra.
Oh, Kelra finds an opening. That's a flicker spent by Yeheskiel. Well calculated now. Do they have enough space to take the mid turret? Not just yet.
Are they looking for it? Edok and Super Toy are still moving forward. I think they're starting to posture for the next neutral objective. They need to control those waves though. They are going to be pushing in favor of ONIC. But Mirko, break that down for us.
Where do we start? It was such a long fight, right? Started with the siege in the bottom lane. They got the base turret down. I thought that would be it, but he wanted more. Both wanted more. RQ wanted to chase, wanted to punish after that, but ONIC wanted to push it forward as well. Oh, man. That was just a great fight by both the teams, but obviously better for ONIC. They ended up outplaying RRQ in that long team fight. And it's because they were able to kind of micromanage Toy, dude. He's the main damage dealer out of the team, right? With Yeheskiel, but Super Toy has more consistent damage constantly. Oh, hold on. That's a flank.
Super Toy again! Stun, trying to force a Purify out, but the knockup is there, and now he goes. ONIC again, finds the angle. Take a look at Kelra. He knows that Yeheskiel has no flicker, but down goes the Uranus. Assange collects the double, and ONIC, the base is wide open with only the ghost of Jakarta left standing. This is his first Royal Derby as he watched his main base falls.
I gotta say that was a clinical victory. I think the casters said it yesterday when they won that 2-0, but again, today shows the exact same thing. You see in the early game ONIC making mistakes. I wouldn't even call it mistakes. They go for a certain game plan, it doesn't work out, and the instant adaptations afterwards, their problem solving, their chemistry, the way that they just, I would say, dance with each other in these team fights, in these engages, in these turtle, in these lord fights. It feels like they've been together for the entire season already. Kelra seems like already so united with the rest of the team.
When you have a player as elite as Kelra, I don't think adapt is a word you can use. When he joins a team, he just shines in it, right? And that's what we got to see here, man. Ah, dang. That was That's so good. Keyboy, again, what a set this one. This won them the game. This is the first turn, right? Because before this, it was RRQ who were actually the ones leading. They got more turrets. They got more objectives done. They were actually winning in the pickoff battles as well at that point, right? Before Keyboy landed the 2 fist crack on Super Ken, and I didn't catch the other guy who got caught. But yeah, Super Ken and the other dude in that bottom bush. Ooh, where do we start, brother? There's so many things. I guess, oh, CW's draft, right? Not banning out the Harley. It paid off in the end. Initially, it looked like, okay, man, he's getting wrecked, Kyrie, in that first turtle. But then it's just all about the adjustments.
Yeah.
He learned from it. He's like, okay, I'll gamble this first turtle. If it works out, we win. If it doesn't, it's okay. I'll just play it the way I'm supposed to play it, which is I'll hide in the bushes. I'll wait for Super Ken to use the Deadly Magic first on Keyboy, and then that's it. He only died once, Kyrie.
That was
Just the
before,
first turtle.
Yeah, so like after the second minute mark. But man, I like what once they got the momentum, they don't drop it. You know, they don't fumble. They stay disciplined. They know when to always just pull the trigger, commit, and when to back away and then re-engage.
Yes.
And RRQ, they were the ones like kind of wing it. So not a good. I think they need more communication in the second game. Better communication.
It feels like an ONIC thing. I think was it against Navi? Like in the early stages of the game, Navi was controlling. I think it was game 2, yeah. And then there was like that one moment, and everything just completely turned around, and they're like, ah, yeah, that's ONIC.
Yeah, that's why. In this game, it was the same. 3 turtles.
Yeah.
Look at the lead. 700 gold lead.
So uncanny.
It's the ONIC of the past, you know, the prime ONIC. We've been throwing that out a lot of times, but maybe it is back. Because 700 gold lead with 3 turtles.
We're looking at the crucial moment now from that previous escapade. They dove in so deep. They lost a few members there, but it was a slap on the wrist for them at the very end.
That one right there, man. They had 3 members dive.
Yeah.
Super Toy, right? Super Toy got a lot of criticism sent his way for his performance against Navi. That one right there, I don't think it was his fault, you know?
He couldn't have known. He couldn't have known. So we award the MVP presented to you by the official gaming phone Infinix to Keyboy on the Badang again. I think that's his first time picking up the Badang so far. Yeah, he's only picked up the Cho, yeah?
Yep, only the Cho twice.
So now Cho and Badang.
I gotta be honest with you, I actually really like RRQ's draft, aside from the Uranus. I still don't know why. Why are we picking Uranus that early? And they're the only team, I believe, to do it, right? I don't remember any other team picking up Uranus that early. We saw Uranus Jungle from Alter Ego, but that's it.
And they lost on that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know why they did that too. Anyways, the fights here, the skirmishes. Yeah. Props to Eskil. I thought he would die more times, man, with the amount of dives that, you know, they have. So, it was Toy and Ken who got caught there.
So that was just perfect.
Yeah, that was literally the 2 damage dealers you need to go for. Man, just looking back at it again, it's great. I can't wait to see the items though. I want to dissect the item builds a bit more. There were some unique ones.
Something that I really noted was the fact that they already had like 2 damage dealers from ONIC, right? You already had Kyrie dishing out the damage. You already had, you know, Kelra at his power spike. You had the Holy Crystal at the very end of it. But San still went for Sky Piercer. So, like, just in case you take Kelra down, you still have a Jushin with that Lantern, with those Sky Piercer stacks that you still have to worry about. The fail-safe that ONIC thinks about is also something worthy to note.
Yep. Okay. Item builds. I think for me, I'm personally pretty... I like how Toy itemized the Has Claws into straight-up Melfic gun for range. I also like the instant Brute Force Breastplate as Super Ken died the first time for Keyboy. You know, when Keyboy caught him the first time, he's like, okay, wait. I gotta go for the Brute Force. I need to get out of the CC quick. And that ultimately did get him out, right? Remember when he got caught with Toy, he got out because of the Brute Force Breastplate. Toy, unfortunately, could not do that. He only had the Purify once, and then that's it. Once the layer of the Petrify came in, there was nothing he could do. Then there was Well, Keyboy just built the Radiant Armor after the Thunderbell, but it was just not really the itemization that's special, but the timing of when he, right as he got the item, straight up walks up to the bush, kind of, again, plays around how RRQ have been conditioned to being able to kill one-shot Keyboy in the past 3 times before that they thought they could do it again, and Keyboy catches him, right? So many times he's able to catch the Harley. And it was a turning point for this game too. When they got the Lord, when they ultimately took back the lead, got the base turret down below, it was due to Keyboy finding both Toy and Ken down below in that tri-bush. Super Dance item, Chastise Pauldron, everything else looks pretty normal, honestly, yeah. Nothing else too crazy from the rest of the boys here. GPM is, whoa! That is very rare to see nowadays. The jungler holding the GPM. But hey, I guess he was clearing out all these waves, while Kelra had to stick with the team to deal damage. He always had to hide away from the Harith, so he used that to farm, he used it to get gold around the map, used it to itemize. Maybe in the late game, how much gold did he have, I wonder? With that much, I think he already had enough to just swap his items against the Harley in case the Harley still gets to him.
Perhaps that is why, despite RRQ holding, all the 3 turrets,